What up, y'all? This is Patrick Hayes, and in this video, I'm going to tell you the story of when I got chased by an alien on December 21st, 2012 in the Yucatan jungle in Mexico at the Chichen Itza pyramids. And there's several reasons why I want to tell this story. One is because it's just an interesting, weird story that was quite an experience that I will never forget that I had with a really interesting fellow that I met while I was down there. And the other reason is I'm just really interested to see how many people actually click on a title like I got chased by an alien on December 21st, 2012 in the Yucatan. I don't know what I'm going to title it at this point. But I'm interested to see how many people click on this. So check it out. I was at a festival. I forget even the name of the festival, funny enough. Down at the Chichen Itza pyramids in Mexico, in Central America, on December 21st. And it was a absolutely insane experience. I'll get more into the crazy synchronicities and like manifestation, like serendipities that happened to get me there in the first place in another video. But essentially we were down there and all sorts of crazy stuff was happening. There were local corrupt police that were exploiting the festival. They were like taking the leader of the festival, whoever was throwing it, I forget the guy's name. They were taking him like into cars and telling him to give them money in order for them to not shut it down, and all sorts of different drama was going on. And a lot of people were like freaking out. We thought that we were gonna get raided. All sorts of crazy shit was going on. What was really, really interesting was at midnight on December 21st, right before the planet aligned with the Pleiades, there was some sort of alignment going on with the Pleiades, and actually inside the festival, there was a ceremony going on to ground the Pleiadian energy when we made that alignment. There was a group of police officers that were outside and starting to come into the party to raid the party. They were going to shut the whole thing down. But right as it turned midnight, they started coming in, and then the leader of the raid, this corrupt police officer, actually decided, you know what? These people are good people, and I don't want to shut this like party down. So a corrupt police officer called over his boss's head to say, I'm not going to do this. This is not right. So I don't know what was going on there. We were being helped by something or someone, because I don't know when the last time a crew of corrupt police officers in Mexico that were about to raid a party and shut it all down in order to extort money from it decided, actually, we're not going to do that because we think these people are good people and we don't want to stop that. And it happened to be right when Pleiadian energy was being grounded. There was a ceremony for the Pleiades right on December 21st, 2012 at midnight exactly, which apparently, according to some channel or extraterrestrial sources, was right when the restriction on the planet was lifted, right when the quarantine was lifted. So I thought that was really interesting. So anyway, we had a great time. Everyone was dancing and having fun, and it was a great party. And police officers were hanging out with us, and they had their like riot gear on, and they were like dancing around. It was super cool. And it got to be like 2 in the morning or whatever, and I was tired. And I stopped doing drugs before this, so I was sober, and everyone else was, probably high and, just going at it. But I was sitting out front and waiting for the bus to come. Now, I was staying in a hotel that was 5 miles away from the grounds where they were throwing the dance party and all that stuff. And this was in the middle of the jungle, so there was a road that went down the middle of the jungle, like 5 miles. I mean, went a lot further than that, but 5 miles all the way back to where I was staying at this like little hotel called the Pyramid Hotel. And I was waiting for the shuttle bus. The shuttle bus just wasn't showing up. It had been like, half hour, 45 minutes. They were supposed to come every 20 minutes. I didn't know if it was actually ever going to show up, or I assumed that later on that it would probably show up to like take people, as at dawn when they stopped playing music or whatever. And so I decided, I'm just going to walk back, but I didn't have a flashlight. It was this, it's just a dark jungle road, like for 5 miles. And I saw this other Rasta dude that was like chilling there, had dreadlocks down to his ankles. And I was like, hey, do you want to like go back? He was waiting for the bus too. I was like, you want to like walk back? It doesn't seem like it's coming. Guy's name was Don Rasta, super cool dude. He was like, yeah, well, fuck it, I guess. We might as well just like, walk. No point in waiting at this point. If we'll see the bus if it's coming, so we'll just take the bus. So we start walking down this road. And quite a few interesting things happen. Now, at this point, I had seen so many little like light dots, UFOs, like come in and like zigzag all around that we'd become desensitized to it. It was actually where it was like every 5 or 10 minutes, like these lights would come in and like zoop, 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 zip all over the place. And we'd be like, oh, there's another one. We stopped even looking at a certain point. It was crazy. But there we are. We're walking along. And all of a sudden, this pack of wild dogs shows up. And they start barking at us. Roar, 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 roar. And there's like 30, 40 of them. There's a bunch of them. And they're circling all around us. And as you know, if you've ever been to Central America, there's a lot of wild dogs because people, dogs just like they've been breeding. They don't have like a dog pound. The dogs just like breed and they create these huge packs. So it's like these wolf packs of like, ex-domesticated dogs that are feral and they just run around and, cause havoc, eat stuff and mess with people. Anyway, they started messing with us and they surrounded us. My first reaction was like, oh shit, and like trying to kind of like back away from them. And I realized these things are not going to back down and I had to get bold. And so both of us, we like looked at each other and we're like, okay, God, yeah. We started yelling at these dogs and like getting all crazy. And we like backed down this pack of 40 dogs. It was pretty intense. Anyway, we scared the dogs, knocked them off and like got out of there. Anyway, we keep walking. And, we're having cool conversations, talking about this and that. And then all of a sudden, we were at this point where it's like pitch black, like a cloud went over the moon. It was pitch black. We couldn't see anything. And all of a sudden, there was this clicking sound on the ground. And it sounded like, it was almost like it was metal or maybe like wood sticks. It was hard to really tell. It was, the road was paved. So it was, if you could imagine like, what it sounded like was like a giant metal spider, like the size of like a raccoon or something, is what it sounded like. And it started clicking around, click, 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 click. And we were like, what is that sound? We're like looking around, it's like click, 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 click. And we're like, that's weird. And it kept getting closer and closer. And it felt like it was about like, at the height of our knees. And it's like click, click, click. And we're like, what is going on? And like me and him are looking at each other, Don Rasta. We're looking at each other like, dude, what the fuck is this? Like, what's going on? It's like click, 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 click. And it actually starts, it sounded like it was like right at our heels, like nipping at our heels. We could feel it like nipping at our knees. Click, 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 click. And we're like, wow, what the fuck? Like looking at each other, like freaking out, like get away from me, like kicking at it and like trying to get it. And we started running and like zigzagging all over the place and like yelling and screaming, da, da, da. And eventually it just stopped. There was like no other, I don't know, it stopped making sounds. But we're like, what the fuck was that thing? Still to this day, it's called the clicker. That's what we call it. We don't know what to call it. The fucking clicker, man. What was that clicker doing? And so, the way I've made sense of it in my mind is there's some sort of freaking alien like slipped through the veil. Some like weird, either metallic or like some sort of, maybe it was even some material I don't even know of. Something slipped through the veil and started chasing us. It was like some weird alien being. I don't know what it was doing. Maybe it did something. Maybe it was like did like a DNA transfer or something, or it actually like did find us, or I don't know, because it was weird how abruptly it stopped and then everything was cool. But anyway, so then we just kept walking and, we eventually made it to the 5 miles. And, I laid in my hammock. I was staying in a hammock in the back of this hotel and camped out there. And me and Don Rasta stayed in contact for several years. I actually lost contact with him. He used to always switch his cell phone, so I never knew his phone numbers. And then, I don't know, last time I heard him, he was going through some stuff. But then, I stopped hearing back from him. But it would be cool if I could talk to Don Rasta again. He was a cool guy. Don Rasta with the long dreadlocks. And so that's my story of being chased by an alien on December 21st, 2012. A lot happened on that trip, and I'm going to have to make some other videos explaining some other things that went on during that trip, because that was quite an extravaganza. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Patrick Hayes. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you think this story is funny and you want to share it with somebody else, go ahead and share it with somebody else. I would really appreciate that. And I will talk to you next time. One love.